Have you ever wondered how a message that's, 2,500 years old could possibly speak to our world today? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unlock the Book of Zechariah, an ancient text with what I think is a surprisingly modern blueprint for hope. And that is a totally fair question. I mean, really, why should a message from so long ago matter to us now? Well, it's because Zechariah isn't just about ancient history. It's really a masterclass in how to rebuild from ruins. A story about finding hope when it feels like all is lost. And let's be honest, that's a story we could all use right about now.
All right, so first things first, let's set the stage. To really get what Zechariah is talking about, we have to try and walk in the shoes of the people he was speaking to. We have to feel the weight of the crisis they were up against.
Okay, try to imagine this. Your people have just come home after 70 years in exile in Babylon. You arrive, and your capital city, Jerusalem, is just a pile of ruins. The very heart of your faith, the temple, is nothing but rubble. This is the world of 520 BC, and into this steps Zechariah, a priest and a prophet, who's got this absolutely monumental task of motivating these discouraged, weary people to pick up the tools and rebuild. Not just a building, but their entire community and their faith. So every single vision, every prophecy in this book, it's like a lifeline being thrown to a drowning people. It's this powerful reminder that even in the deepest, darkest times, they were not abandoned. A whole new chapter was about to be written. And Zechariah's message unfolds in this really brilliant two-part structure. First, he deals with the immediate crisis, the urgent need to get that temple and community rebuilt, like right now. Then he pulls back the curtain on the future, revealing this absolutely breathtaking vision of hope and God's ultimate victory. It's pretty amazing.
So let's just step into Zechariah's world for a minute and experience these visions for ourselves. These aren't just some weird dreams. Think of them as divine wake-up calls designed to shock the people out of their despair and get them moving.
So in one of his first visions, Zechariah sees a man walking toward the ruined city of Jerusalem, and he's holding a measuring line, almost like he's an architect about to draw up the blueprints for a brand new city. And here's where it gets incredible. An angel reveals that Jerusalem is going to be so full of people it won't even need walls. And you ask, why? Because God himself will be a wall of fire around it. I mean, just imagine hearing that promise if you're a people who felt totally vulnerable and exposed. Okay, next he has this vision of the high priest, a guy named Joshua, and he's standing in what looks like a heavenly court. He's dressed in these filthy clothes, and standing right there is Satan, accusing him before God. But then, bam, God rebukes Satan. He orders the dirty clothes to be taken off and gives Joshua clean, new priestly robes. This vision was a super clear message to the people that God would cleanse them of their collective sin and shame. It meant they could stand before him in holiness once again. And finally, in another really key vision, Zechariah sees a solid gold lampstand, the kind that would be in the temple, and it's flanked by 2 olive trees that are just continuously feeding it oil.
The meaning of this vision is captured in one of the most famous lines in the entire Bible. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. I mean, what a game-changing promise to the leaders. It was basically God saying, you don't have to do this alone. My power will see you through. So with that foundation of hope now firmly in place, the book just takes this breathtaking turn. The camera lens pulls way back from the rubble of Jerusalem to reveal this sweeping panorama of the future. And this isn't some vague, fuzzy future either. The focus gets laser sharp on world-changing events, including some of the most stunningly specific predictions about a coming Messiah, an anointed king, in the whole Old Testament. This one right here, this is probably the most famous one. Of course, it's quoted in the New Testament to describe Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. But what's so fascinating to me is the image. The king isn't on a war horse, he's on a donkey. What does that tell us? It says he's a humble servant of peace, not some conquering warlord. And then there's a prophecy that just sends a chill down your spine. Zechariah sees a day when the people of Jerusalem will look upon someone they have pierced, and they will weep. For Christians, this is just an unmistakable, heartbreaking foreshadowing of the cross. And the book builds and builds to this earth-shattering finale, the day of the Lord. This isn't just a battle. It's the ultimate showdown between good and evil, with God himself stepping into the fight to claim victory and establish his unshakable kingdom forever. So, after all these complex visions and wild future prophecies, what's the big takeaway here? Why does this ancient book still matter to us, sitting here today?
The lasting takeaway is this powerful blueprint for hope, and it's built on 4 cornerstones. God has a plan, He wants to restore what's broken, He is faithful to His promises, and His purposes will, in the end, always win. I mean, that's a message that can change absolutely everything.
So, you see, this isn't just some dusty historical document. It's a living, breathing message. The promise to restore Israel and rebuild the temple becomes this universal blueprint, showing us that God's ultimate plan is always, always one of hope and renewal, no matter what kind of ruins we might be facing in our own lives. And so, this ancient blueprint for hope, it lands right here, at our feet. Zechariah's challenge to rebuild wasn't just for his generation. It's for ours too. So as we look around at the brokenness in our world, in our communities, maybe even in our own lives, the question isn't just what needs rebuilding. The real question is, where are we going to start?